And then NDLEA went to the neighborhood and just shot the children, whatever they were doing. He was informed that after he left his client's shop, he got his call that asked him to return. At NDLEA, his two children had been shot by NDLEA. One was 1 year old, the other one was 2 years old. He went to the hospital. The 2-year-old was shot in the eye. The other one died. And subsequent to that, NDLEA were not even apologetic. They were just trying to harass him and take away the phone. Then they are refusing to take responsibility or even assist in the hospital bills of the child that has a wounded eye. So I have a petition to the Senate President on that. They need and some referrals from the eye hospital in
Is there
Lagos.
any legal encumbrance? Are they in court?
No, they are not in court.
You may wish to submit your petition.
Okay. I also have a second petition from the workers of, they are called the indigenous workers of the Federal Capital Territory. There are about 400 of them. They have always worked under every minister. And I can read the petition, but I can just summarize it. Basically, they are all owed, and none of them is owed more than 4 million naira because they are just small contractors, 1 million, 1.5, 2.5. And this current government, the current executives of the Federal Capital Territory are refusing to pay them. And government is a continuum. You cannot refuse to pay, saying it was your predecessor that gave them the contracts. So I am calling that this should be looked into.
Take your seats. Take your seats.
I'm trying to read a petition. May I continue, sir? So, we are calling, in view of the foregoing, we are calling on the public petitions and the Senate to intervene into this matter. The monies they are owed is not a lot. And most of them, their children are out of school. Their lives have literally stopped because that is all they have. I so submit.
Is there any legal encumbrance?
No, none, sir.
You may wish to submit the two petitions on the table.
Thank you, sir.
You have a petition? Allow her to lay her petition on the table first. The two petitions are referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to report back to the Senate within 4 weeks.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Ekong Samson.
Is it a petition?
Yes, Mr. President.
Okay.
Ekong Samson, Akwa Ibom South. I have a petition from Ekid People's Union, a major group in my constituency, reporting the activities of illegal mining in their constituency against a company called Rate Time Mining Company, a Chinese company in their environment. Respectfully, I would like to lay this petition before the Senate. There's it's not it's not encumbered by any illegal issues. Thank you.
You may wish to submit your petition.
Point of order.
No, wait. The petition is referred to the Committees on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to report back within 4 weeks. Distinguished colleagues, please may I have your attention? My distinguished colleagues, you may wish to remember that we had a series of meetings between yesterday and yesterday on the tax reform bills that are before us. This was in consonance with the fact that we understand at all times that this Senate is the highest assembly in this country. A Senate that is composed of men and women of wisdom, of some pedigree that have been entrusted by this country to legislate for them for the peace and tranquility and for the development of this country. The Senate of the Federal Republic, as known by everyone, and indeed other Senates in the entire world, are known to be stabilizers of every country. When there are difficulties, when there are disagreements, the Senate of each country at all times comes in with solution through dialogue and consensus to be able to solve such problems. And the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been doing that since 1999. Because of this, we decided to put politics, ethnicity, regionalism aside, to seek among ourselves in order to find the way forward in respect to the issues surrounding the tax reform bills. It's on this note that we extended our view to the executive arm of government, and it was agreed that there should be a forum to sit down to look at the areas that are creating disagreements in order to resolve them, so that the entire country will remain united in our effort to solve our problems. Before the introduction of these bills, we know we've been faced with several problems, insecurity that we've been trying to solve, the president has been trying, and we also be working with him to solve issues about our economy, which is in line with global economic problems that I've been trying to solve. And we also agree that we shouldn't allow any other thing to come in to aggravate the problems of our country. It's on this note that has been agreed by the executive and also by us that there should be a forum that will sit with the judiciary so that we can sit down and sort out all these problems. The Attorney General, sorry. The Attorney General, sorry, I said not judiciary, the Attorney General, I'm sorry. The Attorney General of the Federation, so that we can sit and look at all the areas of disagreement and resolve them for the interest of this nation. It is therefore proposed that by tomorrow, there will be a meeting with the committee that we've set up here and the leadership to sit down with the Attorney General to look at those issues and resolve them. It's on this note that the Committee on Finance that the bills have been referred to, will hold action on public hearing and other issues until we resolve these issues. So by tomorrow, the committee shall sit with the committee that has been set up here, which I'm going to read the membership, by one tomorrow, I think by 12 noon tomorrow, so that we can see all these areas and resolve them for the interest of our nation. I therefore read the names of the members of the committee. Number one, Senator Abba Moro, the minority leader is the chairman. Senator Mohammed Tahir Mongono, representing Northeast. Senator Adamu Alero, representing Northwest. Senator Oji Uzo Kalu, representing Southeast. Senator Dixon, representing South-South. Senator Titus Zam, representing North Central. Senator Abdullah Yahya, Chairman, Committee on National Planning. Senator Adiola Solomon, Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriations. Senator Sani Musa, Chairman, Senate Committee on Finance. Senator Abiru, Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking. And the entire leadership will be part of that meeting. We assure you everything will resolve. There will not be, all sides will be given the opportunity, and we shall resolve the issues before anything is allowed to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. My point of order is coming under Order 41 and 51. The combined effect of these orders gives Mr. President and the Senate the discretion to dispense with notice if he deems the matter so urgent. And the matter that I have is resurgence of killings in my senatorial district. So I crave your indulgence to read such Order 41. So 1. The matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of this sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. For Order 51, notice shall not be dispensed with in case of a motion in respect of any proceedings for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of senators present. So, matter of urgent public importance is the resurgence of banditry killings in my communities in my senatorial district. Last Sunday, as even worshippers were going to church, they were ambushed, and 18 of them were killed. As we are talking, the killings are going on. So I want to bring it to the notice of this Harrow Chambers, if I'm allowed.
Distinguished colleagues, you have heard his request. Is he of the view that we allow the motion to go? Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May move a motion.
Motion on urgent need to take firm, immediate, and decisive action to stop continuing wanton killings in Ayilamo, Anyi, Udze, Adzege, and other communities in local government area of Benue Northeast Senatorial District. The Senate notes with grave concern the resurgent violence at Ayilamo, Anyi, Udze, Adzege, and other communities in local government area in Benue Northeast Senatorial District of Benue State, which has resulted in loss of numerous lives, destruction of properties, and displacement of families. Also note that on the first day of December 2024 at Adzege, in Tombu Council Ward of local government area, 18 persons were killed on their way to church service by suspected armed herdsmen. Further note that these attacks allegedly perpetrated by armed herdsmen have continued unabated, undermining security, peace, and socio-economic stability of the affected communities. Alarmed that between 22nd October 2024 and today, nearly 50 people have been killed, with 15 killed in Ayilamo, 25 in Anyi, and 6 in Uze community respectively. Aware that the continuous insecurity in these areas is in direct contravention of constitutional provisions under Section 14(2)(b) of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which provides that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. Worried about the lack of adequate and timely intervention by security agencies, which has emboldened these armed groups to carry out further heinous attacks. Conscious of the need of federal government to take urgent, firm, and decisive measures to restore peace and normalcy in these communities, while ensuring protection of lives and properties as enshrined in the Constitution. Concerned about the humanitarian crisis resulting from displacement of thousands of people who now lack access to basic amenities such as shelter, food, healthcare, further worsening the plight of already vulnerable population. Accordingly resolves to condemn in strongest terms the killings and acts of violence in Ayilamo, Anyi, Uze, and other communities in Benue Northeast Senatorial District of Benue State. Direct the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, and Director General of Department of State Service to immediately deploy additional security personnel and resources to affected areas to restore peace and order. Call on the National Emergency Management Agency to provide immediate relief materials and assistance to displaced persons in the affected community. Urge all relevant stakeholders, including community leaders, traditional rulers, and civil society organizations, to cooperate with security agencies in fostering dialogue, reconciliation, and peaceful coexistence in the affected area. Urge the DG budget, Ministry of Police, and the Nigerian Police to provide adequate funding in the 2025 budget to ensure the completion of ongoing construction of mobile police force barracks at Ayilamo in local government area for additional security. Finally, urge the Senate to observe 1 minute silence in honor of all those who have lost their lives. I so move.
Senator Zam.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dr. Titus Zam. I represent Benue Northwest Senatorial District. The President, I rise to support the motion ably moved by distinguished Senator Emmanuel Memga Odende, drawing attention of this Senate to the recent killings of innocent people who were on their way to worship the Almighty God, only to be ambushed and killed by herdsmen in Benue State. My dear colleagues, this has been a recurring decimal in Benue State. In my own senatorial district too, we have had several incidents of ambushes, attacks to communities by bandits masquerading as herders. Several motions have been moved in these hallowed chambers, drawing attention of security agencies and indeed the leadership of this country to what is happening in Benue State. I rise today to echo those concerns and to plead that all the prayers as contained in this motion be handed in affirmative so that our people can have a relief from these attacks. I so second the Senate President. Thank you,
Senator Jimo Ibrahim.
Mr. Senate President, distinguished colleagues, and I am Jimo Ibrahim. I'm from Ondo South Central District. I represent my lovely people from Ondo South. It is again a very sad moment, very disappointing that we are losing life as a result of state of insecurity in Benue. In contributing to this all-important motion, I want to inform the Senate that the issue of security is very key. We cannot combine insecurity arising from human life with that of insecurity. And I think the security apparatus should move very quickly to ensure safety of life of the people. The question here is not that we don't know where insecurity is or whom it affects or where. We do know. And the life of people, very, 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 very is priceless. We cannot quantify what a life worth. And I do hope that the security agency are not moving us to a situation described by Thomas Hobbes, that where the Leviathan sleep over the right of the people, particularly right to life, then of course we expect brutality and some nasty revolts against the Leviathan. So, Mr. Senate President, I want to support all this all-important motion to the extent that the Senate itself must move fast to protect life and property. And this is very, very important. Like I said, life is priceless. And I also think we should actually observe a minute silent prayer for the soul of people that were lost in this very unfortunate incident. I don't want to take much of your time about this because the motion is very clear and unambiguous. And I think my colleagues are all here to lend their voice into this all-important Save Life motion as moved by Senator Ndede. Thank you, Mr. Senate President.
Senator Wadada, you are their neighbor. Maybe you want to give some insight?
President, distinguished colleagues. I remain Senator Ahmed Wadada Aliyu Sarkinyak in Kefi. I stand to support this motion and to say in supporting it that it is most unfortunate that in this day and age where people are planning to move to the planet Earth because of development, because of, development in all ramifications, we are still here killing ourselves, shedding human blood as if we are shedding the blood of mosquitoes. And we all know spiritually or religiously, where a people, continue to shed human blood the way it happens in Nigeria, there is no way anything good will happen to such a people. And this tells us or informs us or goes along a long way to give us the reasons, to provide reasons for which all efforts put in so many areas seem not to be working. So for crying out loud, let's have that God that we all claim to serve. We are a religious people, but by our conduct, we turn out to be highly ungodly. So what's the essence of religion if you are not godly? So let's be as godly, as religious as we have portrayed ourselves to be, and secure our society or our various communities, because without peace, there's virtually nothing reasonable or tangible that can be achieved. I saw support.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to lend my voice of support to the motion moved by distinguished Senator Emmanuel Dende. Mr. President, it is with some level of sadness that I have to stand up like other colleagues to speak on the state of insecurity across the country. Mr. President, you will recall that only recently we praised our armed forces on the efforts that have been made so far to abate the recurring incidents of arms attack. Mr. President, it is convenient for us to sit here and talk about suspected arms herdsmen And you want to recall that this is not the beginning, this is not the start of herdsmen in Nigeria. The new dimension that has been added to this situation is the fact that these herdsmen don't just come to rear their cattle, they just come, kill, maim, and go away. And what it means, therefore, Mr. President, is that there is more to it than mere herdsmen. It means that there are foreign elements that are involved in this matter. And where they come from, their identity, remains a mystery. I think that even as asymmetric as the situation looks like, the guerrilla war-like attacks, I think that more than using this kinetic method of force, we must identify deliberately the type of human beings that are perpetrating these acts across the country. Today we are talking about local government and various communities. But Mr. President, I want you to note that this thing is appearing to be occurring in most parts of the country. And so, while advocating for some proactive measures to prevent these acts, we must get to the roots of where these people are coming from. And they are raising the tab for constantly coming to kill people and going away. Until we address the root cause of these movements, Mr. President, we may continue to debate this issue of armed herdsmen attack without finding a solution. And so I want to sympathize with my brother who has had this unfortunate incident, but at the same time urge this Senate to go beyond mere attacking the incidents and asking the armed forces to take actions and address the root cause of the problem of armed herdsmen attack. We're talking about, like I said, Logo today. In Benue State, the Akatu people are constantly under attack. The Apa people are constantly under attack. The Tupo people are constantly under attack. And that is how it is virtually across the country. Mr. President, I think that we must do more than being aware of this situation and asking the armed forces to take proactive actions and go beyond that to say, let us find the root cause of these attacks. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Karimi.
Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me this opportunity. My name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. Mr. President, my colleagues, last week, with some of my colleagues, we traveled to Morocco. And in Morocco, we traveled from Marrakesh to Casablanca by road, a distance of around 300 kilometers in a bus. All along, we were asking ourselves, we never saw people moving cattle about. Cattle were kept in ranches. But in Nigeria, we see cattle moving all over the country. The solution is in our hand. We have decided as a nation to play politics with the security of this nation. If we want to solve the problem, we can solve the problem. In Morocco, you don't find such thing. In many parts of the world, in Nigeria, in Egypt, you won't find something. But in Nigeria, we allow it. We are elected to serve our people, and we have to do the best for our country. If you want to find solution to this cattle, others, and and the citizens of this country, we can solve the problem. We call a national conference, put an end unto it. But if we want to continue to play politics and waste Nigerian resources, we just sit down and do nothing about it. If we want to find solution, stop all this movement of cattle all over the country. Those living in the forest, they will not have any place to live. That is the solution. Thank you.
This is idiot.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I'm Idiat Olorunti Adebule. I represent the good people of Lagos West. Your Excellency, I want to commend the armed forces for all they are doing, all they've been doing to ensure that the issue of insecurity is reduced to the barest minimum in our country. Sacrifice, their reality, their dedication, and their commitment to ensure that we eradicate insecurity in our country is commendable. However, it must not be about the armed forces alone. All of us has a role to play. We are all leaders in our different senatorial districts. We are all leaders in our communities. It is expected of us that should not be limited to carrying arms alone. It should also include us taking responsibility of talking to our people in our different communities. The advocacy to ensure that we tell them the implication of what they are doing are also commensurate with those who have lost their lives. May Almighty God have mercy on their souls. But it is important that we must not limit it to us coming there all the time to come and become commensurating with the people. We must take action. And as such, it is not, like I said earlier, it should not be limited to the armed forces alone. All of us have a role to play. We should continue the advocacy. We should ensure that issues that need to be reported are reported. And of course, I want also to charge the newly established Ministry of Livestock Development to know that this is part. Trying as much as possible to ensure that through the communities we are able to identify and list out those who are identified elders in our communities. This is one thing that will help us a great deal. Definitely, if we are able to identify these people, we're able to establish this. Through them, we will know the aliens, those who are coming from outside of the country to perpetrate evil in this country. Pray that Almighty God will guide us to ensure that this, at a point in the history of this country, is put behind us. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator Victor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I have risen to say a few words on this motion. Not that what I will say will be different, because we have had motions like this severally in the past from across the country. This Benue State has been a very sore spot in this type of gory killings. I remember 2018, April 2018, people ran into a church, killed the priest, the catechist, and 17 worshippers in the mass on Sunday. The motion was brought to this Senate by Senator Barnabas Gamade. This thing happened at West East local government area of Benue State. Ever since then, repeat killings have taken place in many local governments in Benue State. In Kogi, we have taken a motion from Kogi in this 10th Senate. In Uzowa local government area in Enugu State, these people have continued to kill people in their respective homes. I know that there was a time, there was a hot debate in this chamber on what to do on the prompting of Senator Titus Zahn. He has a bill on that matter. We also resolved that there should be a national summit to discuss how to stop this killing. This type of killing is rampant, and our country cannot continue knowing a problem. We play ostrich to the problem. We don't want to confront it. We don't want to take actions that will stop killing of citizens like this manner. Look at what our brother Dende has just brought now. It's heartrending. So many people have been killed, over 50, within the same axis, and we say they are herdsmen. We must find a way to solve our problems, because a nation that leaves a problem unsolved will be consumed by that problem. This is a constant menace among us. So I want to say that, Mr. President, all of us in this chamber and outside will not pretend not to know that these things are happening. Let us please stop bloodletting. Killing of people is not good, it's barbaric. Nobody can take human life in the manner they take it in this country. And when we say these are the people doing it, after we'll pass prayers in the emotions, and there is no deterrent to this thing happening again. Today it has happened again in Benue State. I want to commiserate the people of Benue State, and indeed all Nigerians, over this merciless killing of people, particularly on a day of worship on Sunday, when people are not on guard, going to worship God, they'll be mowed down, and emotion will come here. This chamber is not a place to report deaths, because it's frightening. We don't need to be receiving these things. Let us take action. It's action that we shall take to stop this thing from happening. So, Mr. President, I pray that you will, under your leadership, take the appropriate actions. This thing should not continue every time people are killed. That were informed by emotion here. We pray for the repose of their souls. Next 1 month or 3 months, they will kill again. The same people killing. So we are frustrated, and I pray that Nigeria, as a country, must solve this problem of headers killing people in their ancestral homes. It's only when we do it that we'll put this problem behind. Otherwise, if no action is taken and the killings continue, there's no point informing us. So I'm so sad, Mr. President. That's why I stood up to speak again. Every time a motion like this came to this chamber, I've always stood up to speak against it. We must find a solution to it. So thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. And I'm sure you have had me.
Thank you. Let's give
God bless the source of God.
Let's give Senator Edmuto an opportunity to add his voice. Then we go into the prayer.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Edmuto. I represent the goodwill of Delta State. Mr. President, there is no need echoing all that has been said. All that I want to say clearly is to align myself with what Senator Karim said. We are a nation of farmers, and time has come for a solution to this problem that we all talk about all the time. And that solution is a very simple one, Mr. President. What we need is to build branches. We must understand that there is no way out of it. Branches is the solution. And there are many advantages of ranches, Mr. President. If just imagine that we have a ranch in every local government area in Nigeria. What it means is that all the headers will move to one location. And in that location, we can build schools for them. We can build accommodation for them. We can build hospitals for them. We can have police stations for them. can build whatever it is that needs to be built around any community. Mr. President, once we can rise to this responsibility of building ranches, another importance of this, or advantage of this is this. You see, Mr. President, when you compare cows in Nigeria with cows in Morocco, ask Karimi and Co, they'll tell you, cows in Morocco are better fed, they are well looked after, because they don't trek from Maiduguri to Asaba. They don't trek from Lagos to, I don't know, to Benue State. Cattle kept in one place and fed in one place are better fed and they look better. It's even safer for the herdsmen as well. But for the herdsmen, for the herdsmen, they are also threatened. Many of them are threatened. That's why they carry guns. If you ask them why do they carry AK-47, they'll tell you because people are stealing their cows. People are killing them. So by the time they are settled in ranches, all that will fizzle away. So, Mr. President, when it comes to the issue of the prayer, I think we should look for a prayer that deals with the establishment of ranches across the nation. That is something that has to be done, Mr. President. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, let me thank everybody for your contributions. Thank Distinguished Senator Udende for bringing this matter of urgent public importance. We go straight into the prayers. Prayer 1. Condemn in the strongest terms the killings and acts of violence in Ayilamo, Ayin, Oza, and other affected communities in Benue Northeast Senatorial District of Benue State. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Prayer 2. Direct the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the Department of State Services to immediately deploy additional security personnel and resources to the affected areas to restore peace and order. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Prayer 3. Call on the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide immediate relief materials and assistance to displaced persons in the affected community. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Prayer 4. Urge all relevant stakeholders, including community leaders, traditional rulers, civil society organizations, to collaborate with security agencies in fostering dialogue, reconciliation, and peaceful coexistence in the affected areas. Those in support of prayer 4 say aye. Those against say nay. Ayes have it. Prayer 5. Urge the Director General of Budget, DG Budget, the Ministry of Police Affairs, and the Nigerian Police Force to provide adequate funding in the 2025 appropriation budget to ensure the completion of the ongoing construction of mobile police force barracks at Ayilamo in local government area for additional security. Chairman appropriation, I wish to comment on prayer 5.
Point of order.
Just a minute.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleague, Adiola Solomon Olamilekon, representing Ogun West Senatorial District in the Senate of the Federal Republic. Mr. President, all the DG budget, the Ministry of Police Affairs, and the Nigerian Police Force to provide adequate funding in the 2025 appropriation budget to ensure completion of the ongoing construction of mobile police force barrack at Ayilamo in local government area for additional security. Mr. President, yes, the prayer is valid, but what we can say is that, as you are aware, sir, that each agencies of the government have been given their envelope for the year, and I want to strongly believe that the Nigerian Police Force should prioritize this project in their budget. If it is not one of their priority projects that funds should be applied to, it might be difficult for anybody. But if it's not part of the budget that they are bringing, there is little or nothing we can do from here. So the prayer is valid to the extent that the DG budget should be informed, the Nigerian Police Force also should be informed, and everybody, so that when they are planning their budget, this project can be recognized and can be part of their budget. So that will be my solution.
So your slight amendment is that since the DG budget reports to the Minister of National Planning,
yeah,
that the Minister of National Planning should
also be informed. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
also to prioritize this project in their budgets.
Yes. Yes, Senator Abiru, you want to second the amendment as proposed?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Adetukumba Abiru. I represent Lagos East. I rise to second the amendment as proposed by Senator Olamide. Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues.
Distinguished colleagues, the Chairman Appropriation and Chairman Banking have proposed that we add the Minister of National Planning, and then, of course, urge them to prioritize this project in their estimates for 2025 appropriation. Those in support that it should be DG budget, our Minister of National Planning, then the Ministry of Police Affairs, and the Nigerian Police Force as a whole, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 6. Urge the Senate to observe a 1 minute silence.
Additional prayer, please, Mr. President.
In honor of all those who have lost their lives. Those in support of prayer 6 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. President, additional prayer, Mr. President.
Senator Woko, you have additional prayer.
Yes, in line with what I said earlier, Mr. President, I suggest a prayer.
No, just propose.
Yes,
don't
to set up a joint committee that will work on the establishment of branches across the 774 local government areas of the country. This has to be done, Mr. President. There is no other solution.
That the president was was it in China? Where was in Brazil, and he made a lot of inroads into the issue of livestock production in general, and a lot of investors are coming in that direction. So I'll propose that you bring additional. You can come with a motion in line with the diplomatic shuttle of Mr. President and the outcome for the Senate's constitution. Outside that, I want to thank Senator Bangira. Yes, additional prayer.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I'm Babangida Hussaini, Senator representing Jawano West. Additional prayer, I'm proposing that the Senate directs all relevant security agencies to take proactive measures to check the proliferation of small arms through our land and sea borders. I so submitted.
Any second that? Yes, Senator Antoniani.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Professor Antoniani from South. I want to vehemently support the motion, the amendment as put forward by my colleague, Senator Babangida, I so support.
Thank you, Senator Babangida has proposed an additional prayer that we should urge all security agencies in the country to, as a matter of urgency, take the proliferation of small arms across the nation in order to reduce the incidence of killings and banditry across the entire country. Those in support of the additional prayer as proposed and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank distinguished Senator Odende and all our colleagues for their contributions to this matter of urgent national importance, and to say that we deeply sympathize with the communities affected and the families who have lost their dear ones, and will not be tired of showing our empathy in incidents of this nature. And therefore, I urge all my colleagues to rise to observe a minute silence in line with the prayers for those who have lost their lives. May we rise. And the souls of our fellow Nigerians were raised from the mother Ayilamo, Ayin, Uze, and Zenge, and other communities in local government area of Benue North, East Senatorial District of Benue State. Rest effective. Amen.
Point of order. Point of order.
Point of order.
Yes, Senator Wadada.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. I am Ahmed Wadada Aliyu Sarkinya in Kefi. I represent Nasarawa West Senatorial District. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I come under orders 41, 42, and 51. And if the President permits, I read one of the orders.
You may not read because you lumped personal explanation with matters of urgent national importance.
Yes, reason being that the rule.
You may not need to read. Just give us a summary of what you intend to say.
Okay, I am coming as a result of ghastly motor accident that happened in Kefi in an area called Total Roundabout.
Okay, so come under order 42 because we have already taken one matter of urgent national importance.
That is it. That's why I lumped them, sir.
No, don't.
42, by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there may be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave to make it is sought.
Yes, so go ahead.
Like I said,
distinguished colleagues, Senator Wadada informed me about a ghastly accident yesterday that claimed the lives of over 25 people at the roundabout that he mentioned. He felt he should bring it to the attention of the Senate. Is it the view of the Senate that he be allowed to mention this under personal explanation? Those who support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much, distinguished colleagues. There was an accident in Kefi Total Roundabout which consumed 25 lives at the spot, and more than 32 people are now hospitalized in the Federal Medical Center, Kefi. The unfortunate aspect of this is occurrence, it's a recurrent decimal. From the construction of the road to now, we had experienced more than 6-7 different accidents where lives have been lost. The last before this was a tanker that got in flames. Lives and properties were destroyed. And for that, this that has happened, I feel it should be brought to the knowledge of not only the Senate, but Nigeria and Nigerians to know, so that what needs to be done to forestall further occurrence of this should be done. The Senate notes that total roundabout Kefi in my senatorial district has become a point of consistent accidents, incidents, and loss of precious lives. Also notes the frequent occurrence of accidents and incidents at that point poses high danger to travelers, school children, and residents. Aware that there is hardly a month without a record of accidents and incidents at that point. Also aware that the Federal Road Safety Commission and other road traffic agencies are always at their best, ensuring that road users abide by all safety procedures to avoid accidents and incidents or make it as minimal as possible. Worried that these accidents keep reoccurring due to high passage of road users, sloppy nature of the road, and congestion. Also worried that if nothing is done to eliminate the dangerous intersection on that road to improve the traffic flows and enhance safety, the risk of collision will continue to be high and likely loss of precious lives will continue. Saddened that on Tuesday, 2nd November, an accident occurred at that same point, leading to the loss of 25 lives, with more than 32 seriously injured and now hospitalized. Whereas the construction of a flyover at that location will greatly reduce the risk of accidents and ensure free flow of traffic. Now, therefore, it is resolved that the Senate mandates the Federal Ministry of Works to construct a flyover at Total Roundabout as a matter of urgency to prevent further loss of lives. The Federal Ministry of Works should within 6 months provide a detailed plan and timeline for the construction of flyover at Total Roundabout over Hausa, Kefi. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, with this, I seek the support of my colleagues for these prayers, and also a 1-minute silence to be observed for the lives that have been lost. And I enjoin my colleagues to support this motion so that the needful will be done. Thank you, Mr. President. I so move.
Thank you, distinguished Senator Wadada. We came under Order 42, and there is no need for us to debate it. But on behalf of the 10th Senate, I want to join you in extending the condolences of this August chamber to the families of those who lost their lives. And to say that, yes, indeed, your prayer will be communicated to the Ministry of Works and Housing for further actions. My dear colleagues, because Nigerian lives have been lost in a terrible accident involving 25 lives, I will rise to observe 1-minute silence in their honor. For the souls of our departed brothers and sisters who lost their lives, and the total roundabout in Cape State, rest in perfect peace.
Point of orders.
Yes. Senator Ani.
Point of order, sir.
Yes, Senator Ani. Senator Akabondo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mine is a matter of urgent public importance, and I come under Order 41. It has to do with the urgent need for special intervention by the Senate to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to expedite action and complete the rehabilitation of Dumba PLENARY roads to relieve the sufferings of Nigerian motorists and improve security.
Distinguished colleagues, is it the view of the Senate that Senator Akabondo, since we have taken matter of urgent importance in line with our rules, we are allowed to bring this in the next legislative date? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. So please bring it up in the next legislative date. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The first business of the day, presentation of the House bill standing in my name on the Federal University of Allied Health Sciences, Enugu, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 249. Mr. President, we are going to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal University of Allied Health Sciences, Enugu, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 249, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal University of Allied Health Sciences, Enugu, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 249, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the second business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Garba Musa Medoki on the National Orientation Agency Act, Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, SB 230. Mr. President, we wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, National Orientation Agency Act, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024, SB 230, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, National Orientation Agency Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2024, SB 230, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the third business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Titus Sam Atenga on the Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, NACA, Benue State, Establishment Bill 2024, SB 665. Mr. President, may we to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, NACA, Benue State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 665, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies, NACA, Benue State Establishment Bill 2024, SB 665, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fourth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Oyewu Kamorudin on the Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies Establishment Bill 2024, SB 666. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies Establishment Bill 2024, SB 666, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Federal College of Vocational and Technical Studies Establishment Bill 2024, SB 666, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the fifth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Dr. Jimo Ibrahim on the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024 SB 667. Mr. President, may we to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, SB 667, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2024, SB 667, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the sixth business of the day is the presentation of a bill standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Sani Musa on the Financial Innovation Bill 2024, SB 668. Mr. President, may we to invite the Clerk of the Senate to read the short title.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Financial Innovation Bill 2024, SB 668, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Financial Innovation Bill 2024, SB 668, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, distinguished colleagues. The first order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2024, SB 477. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 26 September 2024. Mr. President, you may wish to invite distinguished Senator Abdul Hamid Malam Maduri, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Maduri.
Mr. President, sir, my name is Yunus Biodun Akitoye, representing Oyo Central, Deputy Chairman, Police Affairs. I stand to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an an act to establish Nigerian Police Force training institutions to serve as high-level centers for the provision of professional training and other related matters. I so much.
Dismissed Senator Larry.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues. My name is Kamaruddin Olalilo Yehumi. I represent also West Central District. I write the current motion moved by the Vice Chairman Committee on Police Affairs. I will do assembly report.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do receive the report on police affairs, the establishment of institutions across the country. Those in support that we receive this report say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished Senator Yunus, I wish to proceed. Distinguished Senator Yunus, Distinguished Senator Yunus, please can you summarize this report? So you move a motion for us.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, this is the summary of the report of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs on a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Training Institutions. The Senate at its plenary sitting on Thursday, 28 September 2024, debated the general principle for a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Training Institutions. The bill sponsored by distinguished Senator Abdulhamid Maidori underwent extensive deliberation. It was subsequently read for the second time and referred to the Senate Committee on Police Affairs for further legislative actions by Senate Order of Reveral, NAS 106/R/1/304, dated 2nd October 2024. Mr. President, these are the observations of the committee. Page 4. Page 4. Based on the views expressed at the public hearing and analysis of both oral and written memoranda, the committee made the following observations. A, that the establishment of training institutions for the Nigerian Police Force will enhance the capacity of officers, making them better trained, better resourced, and well motivated to carry out their constitutional responsibilities. B, that many of these institutions, despite being almost 51 to 76 years old, lack legal and financial backing to enable them function effectively. And C, that some of these institutions are in deplorable conditions due to years of neglect by the authorities. Our recommendation: having carefully completed its legislative mandate on the bill, the Committee on Police Affairs recommends that the Senate will consider and pass the bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Force training institutions to serve as a very high-level centers for the provision of professional training and other related matters. In conclusion, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, on behalf of members of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs, I sincerely wish to express my profound gratitude to the leadership of the Senate for the opportunity given to this committee to serve. So move.
Distinguished Senator Nengi.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to second the motion ably moved by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Police Affairs. And in seconding it, I also want to express our profound appreciation to all the members of the committee for finding time to partake in this exercise. This is a very worthwhile bill, and it is important at every given time to create an opportunity to better our police force. Mr. President, the training of our police force is so inadequate, and therefore, for the National Assembly, one of our prerogatives and should be a priority is in making sure that our police force stands the challenges of our time. So far, they have done their best under a very difficult terrain, under a very difficult situation. It is imperative for one to now say there is no way 350,000 police personnel will be able to police over 150 million Nigerians. It is an aberration. So it is important that while the number is inadequate, but let's get the police personnel that are knowledgeable, that have the capacity, and let's create the patriotism within the police force in bringing to fore, say, Nigeria first. So it is important that members of this August Hollow Chamber support this bill like they did during the second reading. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you. Leader of the SAS, you have something to say?
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Shoaib Afolabi Salisu. I represent Nobu Central. It is important to put this bill in context. We have a police force that now and then we complain about their inefficiency, the way they handle investigation, the way they sometimes handle prosecution. But what you don't have, you cannot give. Therefore, to equip the police to be able to function effectively, particularly at the time the country is going through some challenges, we need to have a framework to train them. And the training and manpower development requires that we have institutions that are legally established, that are budgetarily funded, and that therefore we can hold them accountable. Therefore, Mr. President, I fully support and enjoin our colleagues to please support this bill seeking to establish a legal framework for the various police institutions that we have in the country. If you look at other security agencies, they have an equivalent of their training institutions that are funded, that are legally recognized. It is only the police institutions they established over decades ago, no legal framework for them, and that's why they are treated as an annexure at every budgetary cycle. I therefore fully support that this bill should be supported and enacted into law to provide for the funding of the police training institution we have all over the country. I so support, Mr. President.
Thank you, distinguished colleagues. I don't think there's anybody opposed to this bill. So, Senate Leader, may wish to move a motion that we revert to a committee of the whole for clause-by-clause consideration.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, I stand to move a motion that we resolve to committee of the whole to consider report.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to consider the report appropriately. I so second.
Colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we revert to committee of the whole to go into clause-by-clause consideration of all this of the all-important bill. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Who is the committee of the whole? Distinguished colleagues, Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2024, SB 470, clause by clause consideration. A bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions to serve as high-level centers for the provision of professional trainings and other related matters. Clause 1, those in support of Clause 1, the long title say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 2, clauses 2 and 3. As written, those in support of clauses 2 and 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clause 4, as written, those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 5 and 6, those in support of clauses 5 and 6 as written say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5. Henry Siraki Dixon, Bayelsa West. And Mr. President and colleagues.
Page, clause 5, page what?
Yeah, I started life as a policeman. And
Clause 5, page.
that's why we are supportive. I've not seen the police training on one yet. I don't know. What line is it, Chairman? The police training school, no one in River State. I can't find it.
Yes.
As one of the institutions mentioned. The chairman may guide.
Yes, Senator.
Because I know it is there. I received some training there myself too.
Please check page 8.
Have you seen it? Are you satisfied? Our business is to be sure you're okay. Okay, noted.
As a member of the committee.
Okay. So I'll take it again from page 5 to page 8. Those in support of page 5 to 8 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. From page 9 to page 15. Those in support of pages 9 to 15 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Having taken clauses 9 to 15, can we take from 16 to 20? Those in support of clauses 15 to 20 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. At least now we have seen the police training school in Riverside where the senior senator, Seraki Dixon, was trained. Or you were trained in Oji River. Okay. And then you abandoned the police for politics. Or you retired. Oh, congratulations. You're a patriotic Nigerian. It's still on it. So, clauses 20 to 23, those in support of clauses 20 to 23 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Of course, our interpretation clauses are 22. If you look at page 45, those in support of the interpretation clause say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title in clause 23, those in support of the short title say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The schedule already was on page 1, page 46, schedule 1. Those in support of schedule 1 in page 46 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Explanatory memorandum in page 50. Those in support of the explanatory memorandum in page 50 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, I stand to request the President to revert back to plenary in order to report progress.
Minority Leader. To report progress.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I rise and second the motion that the Senate reverts to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I said second.
Thank you. I think the leader moved the motion in Chinese, but you corrected it in English. Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we revert to plenary for the chair to report progress. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Distinguished Senator Yunus, before I report progress, you may wish to approach the chair. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Police Affairs on the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2024 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clauses 1 to 21 with amendments as amended, interpretation clause 22 as recommended, short title clause 23 as recommended, schedule 1 page 46 as recommended, explanatory memorandum page 50 as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? Let me make one explanation. If you look at page 6 of the report, you will see where they listed the litany of certificates, degrees, and all that will be given to the trainees on completion. These things will not be done by those institutions. They will be done in collaboration with the police university in Kano. That is why they said eventually they will get diplomas, certificates, and degrees, but not in those institutions. They will be done in collaboration with the police university in Kano. So I hope that explanation is noted. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, the second order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report.
I thought you will move a motion for third reading. Motion for third reading after a clause by clause consultation.
Thank you. I'm well guided. Thank you, Mr. President, for guiding the process.
Thank you.
Mr. President, at this point, I rise to move I move that the bill be now read the third time. I so move, Mr. President.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion ably moved by the Senate Leader.
Distinguished colleagues, the Senate Leader has moved a motion that the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2024, having gone through clause by clause consideration, be now read a third time. And this has been seconded by the Minority Leader. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Flag of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Police Force Training Institutions to serve as high-level center for the provision of professional training and for related matters 2024, SB 470, third reading.
Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions to serve as high-level centers for the provision of professional trainings and for later matters 2024, third reading taken. Distinguished colleagues, a bill for an act to establish the Nigeria Police Force training institutions to serve as high-level centers for the provision of professional trainings and for later matters 2024, third reading taken and passed. Let me commend the Committee on Police Affairs, led by Distinguished Senator Dori, and also commend Distinguished Senator Yunus, the Vice Chairman, and all the members of that committee for painstakingly taking this through for the benefit of all Nigerians. We believe strongly that an officer is as good as his training. And if you are not well exposed in training, there is no way you can excel in your professional career. So I hope that all those who pass through this training institute will now be in a position to further police Nigeria and assist us to bring about an end to banditry, terrorism, and insecurity in our country. I wish the Inspector General of Police and Nigerian Police Force in general good luck in their endeavors. I hope that these places will be well equipped so that the trainings will have meaning for all Nigerians. No accidental discharge as a result of inadequate training will happen again today. Congratulations to all. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. The second order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Capital Market on the Investment and Security Bill 2024 SB1. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, you will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Tuesday, 8 October 2024. Mr. President, we wish to invite both distinguished Senator Izunaso Osita, Chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
Distinguished Senator Osita Izunaso.
Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, my name is Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. Mr. President, I stand to move that the Senate do receive and consider the report of the Committee on Capital Market on Investment and Securities, Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024. I so move, Mr. President.
Senator Kaka Shehu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Kaka Shehu Lawan. I represent Borno Central Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Izunaso. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support that this report on Committee on Capital Market be presented before this August Assembly, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Izunaso, you may proceed to lay your report. You may wish to summarize your report.
Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues, The Senate at its plenary on Tuesday, 8 October 2024, deliberated on the General Principle of Investment and Securities Bill 2024. After extensive deliberations, the bill was read for the second time and referred to the Committee on Capital Market for further legislative action. The bill was read for the first time in these hallowed chambers on Wednesday, 4th October 2023. It was sponsored by distinguished Senator Michael Opeyemi Bamidele, CON, and my humble self, Osita Ezunaso. Our observations and findings. The committee, having conducted public hearing as well as carried out subsequent legislative activities on the proposed bill, do hereby outline its deliberations and findings as follows. 1. The stakeholders were unanimous in their support for the passage of the bill, although with some modifications which have been reflected in the provisions of the bill as set in the attached table. 2. That the Eastern Legislative, as revolutionary as it was at its inception, after many years of its operation, requires systemic substantial update to align with the evolving financial market and regulatory frameworks globally in order to make it more attractive to both local and foreign investors. 3. That the enactment of this proposed legislation will undoubtedly provide significant opportunity to drive the growth of the capital market and diversification, thereby creating a conducive atmosphere for investors in the Nigerian capital market. 4. That the bill contemplates to address modern forms of financial malpractices and reinforce investors' protection by engendering robust regulations around market abuses, insider trading, and governance standards for public traded companies. 5. That the bill envisages regulatory framework for digital currencies and fintech activities, including the provision of blockchain cryptocurrency transactions to support the integration of innovative technologies within the scope of the capital market. That the passage of this bill will bring about diversity and growth in the capital market through market offerings that will form the foundation for capital economic expansion, thereby creating job opportunities within the Nigerian capital market. Recommendation. The Senate Committee on Capital Markets, to which this bill was referred to, having thoroughly considered the same, hereby recommends that the Senate will consider and pass the bill, the Investment and Securities Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024 as amended. In conclusion, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, I wish to respectfully, on behalf of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity. Thank you all.
Distinguished Senator Mongodo.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, this report is res ipsa locutor. It speaks for itself because primarily what this report seeks to attain is to bring in tandem with international best practice the modus operandi of the securities and investment market, capital market
within the Nigerian economy to protect investment of Nigerians, as well as safeguard unauthorized, illegal, unlawful, fraudulent, and unfair trade practices that has over the years negatively impacted on the way and manner we do business in Nigeria. So in that regard, Mr. President, distinguished senators, I support this report.
Let me thank distinguished Senator Isunaso and all the members of his committee on capital market for doing a wonderful job. Thank my colleagues for their contributions. There is no single opposition to the report. The Senate leader, you may wish to move that we refer to committee of the whole to go into clause by clause consideration of this report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I so move.
Minority leader.
Mr. President, is colleagues, I second the motion as moved by Senate leader. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we refer to committee of the whole to consider this bill clause by clause. Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate will revert now to committee of the whole. Yes, report of the Committee on Capital Market on a bill for an act to repeal the Investments and Securities Act 2007, Act number 29, 2007, and then enact the Investments and Securities Bill 2024, and to also establish the Securities and Exchange Commission as the apex regulatory authority for the Nigerian capital market, as well as the regulation of the market to ensure capital formation, the protection of investors, maintain fair, efficient, and transparent market, and reduction of systemic risk, and for related matters 2024, SB 128. Yes. Yes. Clause 1. Those in support of clause 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Those in favor that clauses 1, clauses 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stand parts of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19, 20 stand parts of the bills, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Those in favor that clauses 20 to 30 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 30 to 40 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 30 to 60 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 61 to 90 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 91 to 120 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 121 to 150 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 151 to 180 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 181 to 210 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 221 to 230 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 251 to 280 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 281 to 310 stand part of the bill, say aye. Those in favor that clauses 251 to 351 to 38 to 358, 320, 358, please, should stand out of it, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the schedules 1 to 3 on page 270 to 286 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the short title on clause 358, page 270, stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor of the interpretation on clause 357, page 257, stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Is any leader?
Thank you, Mr. President.
And besides, if anybody has anything within the bill, excuse me, leader, if you have any observation that we have not touched, please let us know. Because in looking at the bill is bulky. If there's anything at all, we just want to be on the safe side. Okay, you can write on.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate revert back to plenary to enable the chairman report progress. I so move.
Minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I write to second the motion that the Senate refer back to plenary for the chair to report progress. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, moved by the leader and seconded by the leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Capital Market on the Investment and Security Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024 and approved as follows. Loan title as recommended. Number of clauses, clauses 1 to 356 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 357 as recommended. Short title, clause 358 as recommended. Schedule 1 to 4 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum, nil. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole? The Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill be now read the third time. I so move.
The clerk. Sorry.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to second the motion moved by the Senate leader that this bill be read a third time. So,
those in favor, okay, finish. Are you okay? Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and second by the leader, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk will send it.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Investment and Securities Act 2007, Act number 29, 2007, and enact the Investments and Securities Bill 2024, and to establish the Securities and Exchange Commission as the apex regulatory authority for the Nigerian capital market, as well as regulation of the markets to ensure capital formation, the protection of investors, maintain fair, efficient, and transparent markets, and the reduction of systemic risk, and for related matters 2024, SB 128, third reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Investment and Securities Act 2007, Act number 29, 2007, and enact the Investments and Securities Bill 2024, and to establish the Securities Exchange Commission as the apex regulatory authority for the Nigerian capital market, as well as regulation of the market to ensure capital formation, the protection of investors, maintain fair, efficient, and transparent market, and reduction of systemic risk and related matters, 2024, third reading, taken and passed. The Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators, the third order of the day is the presentation and consideration of the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Colleges, and Institutions on the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024 SB 297. Distinguished senators will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, 17th October 2024. Mr. President, may we to invite most distinguished senators Simon Bako Lalong, chairman of the committee, to move the motion for the presentation and consideration of the report.
I therefore, based on, okay, well, going by this item, let me now yield the floor to Senator Simon Bako Lalong to proceed with his report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, Simon Lalong, representing Plateau South and the chairman of this committee. Mr. President, I rise to move to present the report standing in my name on the order paper.
Senator Musa Medoki, can you please second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Garba Musa Maidoki, representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my leader, Senator Lalong. I so moved. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Senator Simon Bakwala, you may proceed to present your report.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, this is a report of the Senate Committee on Agricultural Colleges. With respect to this matter, the introduction is already established. This bill was presented by our colleague, distinguished Senator Iyako Iyaro Anthony from Gombe South. The bill was very clear, very simple, and the content very comprehensive. And so, Mr. President, I will just move to the observations. One, that the intent of the bill is to establish Federal College of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry at Talase, Gombe State. Two, that the bill conforms to normative drafting standard. Everything was all right. And number three, that the establishment of the college will serve as an incentive to encourage agricultural practices in that area. And so, at the end of the day, we recommended, and this is the recommendation, that the committee, having considered the proposed bill and taking into account its relevance to the development of this country, hereby recommends, quote, that the Senate do consider and pass the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, SB 297, unquote. So we so move. That is the summary. We have moved.
Is there anyone that want to make comment? No. You want to? You have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Senator Ibrahim Dankombo. I rise to second the motion ably moved by Senator Lalong. I so second. Thank you.
Senate Leader.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I rise to move that the Senate now resolve to a committee of the whole for further consideration of this report. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to further consider the bill. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 1 stands part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 2 and 3 stands part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 3 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the short titles in clause 3, page 1, stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chairman to report progress. I so move.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress. I so second.
report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Agriculture, Food Services and Institutions on the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024 and approved as follows. Long title as recommended, clause 1 to 2 as recommended, interpretation nil, short title clause 3 as recommended, explanatory memorandum as recommended. It is a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bill be now read the third time. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the bill be read a third time. I so second.
Those in support of the motion moved by the leader and seconded by Minority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act, Cap A12, laws of the Federation and Animal Husbandry, Talase, Gombe State, and for related matters 2024, SB 297, third reading.
A bill for an act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Cap A 12 laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for the establishment of the Federal Colleges of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry, Tilasi, Gombe State, and for related matters 2024, third reading taken and passed. The bill, okay. The Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the fourth order of the day is a House bill for concurrence as listed on the order paper. Mr. President, for the simple nature of the bill and for interchamber reciprocity, I will present the lead debate on the bill. With your permissions. Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, lead debate on bills for concurrence from the House of Representatives. And Mr. President, in presenting this bill, let me just again reemphasize that we actually have three different bills for concurrence from the House of Representatives. And the intention of my lead debate is to consolidate the debate on these three bills. Mr. President, the bills for concurrence constitute the fourth, fifth, and sixth orders of the day. Mr. President, may I first then move that I be allowed to consolidate this debate with respect to the three bills, and that this hallowed chamber will consider the three bills concurrently for concurrence. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader, can you second? Minority Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I like to second the motion as moved by the Senate leader. I so second.
Those in favor, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lead debate on the bills for concurrence from the House of Representatives. The three bills that are before us for concurrence are: one, the Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill 2024 SB 1038. Two, the Maize Export Prohibition Bill 2024 HB 1509. And three, Federal University of Environmental and Technology Koroma Sakpenwa Tai Ogoni Establishment Bill 2024 HB 1040. The Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill 2024 HB 1038 was read for the first time in this hallowed chamber on Thursday, 18th July 2024. This bill seeks to repeal the Nigeria Shippers Council Act, Cap N138, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Act to provide for economic regulation of port services. The objectives of this bill are to establish the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency as an economic regulatory authority, hereinafter referred to in this bill as the Agency for Port Services, hereinafter referred to in this bill as Regulated Services, and to set out the objectives, scope, functions, and powers of the agency. Also, to establish a regulatory framework for the effective and efficient economic regulation of regulated services and related activities for the control of tariffs, rates, and charges to guard against arbitrariness. Thirdly, to monitor compliance of regulated service providers
and users in the regulated sector with the provisions of this bill and advise the government through the minister on matters related thereto. And 3, to promote the automation and digitalization of all cargo reception and handling processes and procedures. The Maize Export Prohibition Bill 2024 HB 1509 was read for the first time on Tuesday, 22nd October 2024. This seeks to prohibit the exportation of maize to address the ongoing food crisis in Nigeria. The Federal University of Environment and Technology, Koroma, Sakwenwa, Tai, Ogoni, Establishment Bill 2024, HB 1040, was read for the first time on Thursday, 17th October 2024. This bill seeks to establish the Federal University of Environment and Technology, Koroma, Sakwenwa, Tai, Ogoni, to be statutorily charged with the responsibilities of providing the requisite knowledge and skills in the field of environmental study, technological manpower, and for related matters. Mr. President, my respected colleagues, these are straightforward and non-controversial bills, and they had gone through the necessary legislative process in the House of Representatives. I therefore urge you all to support the second reading of these bills as we refer them to the Committee of the Whole for clause-by-clause consideration. I thank you.
Any comment? Senate Leader. Committee of the Whole.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the bills be read for the second time. I so move.
Madam Leader, second the motion that the bills be read the second time.
Please, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that bills for concurrence from the House of Reps be read a second time. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion moved by the leader and second by minority leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for 2004 and they enact the Nigeria and for related matters 2024, HB 1038, second reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, quantities out of Nigeria and for related matters 2024, HB 1509, second reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Environment Technology, Kuruma, Sakwenwa, Tai, Ogoni, and for related matters 2024, HB 1040, second reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Shippers Council Act Cap N133, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Act to provide for economic regulation of port services and for related matters 2024, HB 1038, second reading. A bill for an act to prohibit the exportation of maize or its derivatives in large commercial quantities out of Nigeria and for related matters, 2024 HB 1509. Second reading taken. C. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Environmental Technology, Koroma, to Sakwenwa, Tai Ogoni, and for related matters, 2024 HB 1040. Second reading taken. Read out the Senate. Of the whole.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate now resolve to a committee of the whole to ensure further consideration of these bills. I so move.
The minority leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the motion moved by the Senate leader that the Senate resolves into the committee of the whole to further consider the bills from the House of Representatives for concurrence. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
We start with the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill 2024 HB 1038. Those in favor that clauses 1 to 10 stand pass of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 11 to 20 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 21 to 30 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 31 to 40 stand part of the bill. Those in favor, please say aye, and those against, say nay. Those in favor, the ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 41 to 50 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 51 to 60 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clauses 61 to 68 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the shall title, that the interpretation, clause 68, on page 87, stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that clause 69 stand part of the bill, please say aye. That's the short title. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the schedule 1 on page 95, stand part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the explanatory memorandum on page 102 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The leader of the Senate. Oh, sorry. The next is Maize Export Prohibition Bill 2024 HB 1509. Those in favor that clauses 1, 2, 3, and 4 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that is short title on page on clause short title clause 4, page 1 stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against. Okay, go ahead.
The Senate President, distinguished colleagues, please, I understand the position of maize as regard to national security. I understand that clearly, but we must be fair to our people. Sir, the crude oil today is derived from Nigeria. It's priced by at international price, even though we are consuming it at our local refinery. We are the farmers. We grow these things. We have to sell it not at the international price, but at the local price. And despite that, we do not have the government support for us to make this cheaper to Nigerians. I think it is unwise. I think it is not fair.
What is your move for
What I want,
amendment? The
amendment I want, sir, is to stop it at maize, so that the derivatives, these are processed products,
okay.
can be
Seconder,
exported.
please. A seconder. Senator Abbas.
Mr. President, the second motion has moved, amendment has moved by Senator Medoki. So,
Those in favor that the derivatives of maize should not be prohibited from being exported, that only maize should be prohibited from being exported, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Medoki. The derivatives are products of the value chain, because you create job by allowing that to occur. Now saying that those so you are not saying that Martina cannot be up here. Thank you for your eagle eye. You've done very well. So it has to go to conference committee. So take note, Secretariat. So that is okay. I think we finished with that. The third one, yeah, we are on the third one. Yeah, I say we finished with that. With this one. We are now on the Federal University of Environment and Technology, Koroma Sakpenywa, Tai Ogoni, Establishment Bill 2024, HB 1040. Clauses, because this is a it's familiar area. We don't need to waste time on this. Clause 1 to 10. Clauses 1 to 10. Those in favor that is time part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. Clauses 10, 11 to 20. Those in favor that this stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Clauses 21 to 27. Those in favor that they stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Those in favor that the interpretation, clause 27, page 19, stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The short title, clause 28 on page 20, those that are in agreement that should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Schedules 1 to 3, page 21 to 27. Those in agreement that they should stand part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The explanatory memorandum, page 37. Those in agreement that that stands part of the bill, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of Senate.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that the Senate revert back to plenary to enable the chairman of progress.
The minority leader, our able minority leader. After our able leader has moved, so let's hear from our able minority leader.
Mr. President, sitting as chair, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the Senate reverse to plenary to enable the chair report progress.
Those in agreement that for that the motion moved by the leader and seconded by minority leader should scale through, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Report. The Senate in the Committee of the Whole consider the report. Consider the Nigerian Port Economic Regulatory Agency Bill 2024 and approve as follows. Non-title as recommended. Number of clauses, clause 1 to 67 as recommended. Interpretation, clause 68 as recommended. Short title, clause 69 as recommended. Schedule 1 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole in respect to this report? Thank you. Another report. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole considered the Maize Export Prohibition Bill 2024 and approve as follows. Long title as recommended. Number of clauses, clause 1 as recommended, clause 2, 3 as recommended. Short title, clause 4 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as amended. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole in respect of the report? Report, again, another report, last but not the least. The Senate and the Committee of the Whole consider the Federal University of Environment and Technology, Koroma, Sakpenwa, Tai Ogoni Establishment Bill 2024 and approve as follows. Non-title as recommended. Number of clauses 1 to 26 are recommended. Interpretation, clause 27 as recommended. Short title, clause 20 as recommended. Explanatory memorandum as recommended. This is true reflection of what transpired in the Committee of the Whole in respect of this report. I know in PG, that's why I say yeah, because from the area, from the central zone. Congratulations. Well done. So, the leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to move that these bills jointly and severally be now read for the third time. I so move.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that the three bills from the House of Representatives of concurrence be severally read for the third time. I so
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Shippers Council Act, Cap N 133, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Act to provide for economic regulation of port services and for related matters 2024, SB 1038, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to prohibit the exportation of maize in large commercial quantities out of Nigeria and for related matters 2024, HB 1509, third reading. Mr. President, distinguished senators, a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Environmental Technology, Kuruma Sakpenwa, Tai Ogoni, and for related matters 2024, HB 1040, third reading.
A bill for an act to repeal the Nigerian Shippers Council Act, Cap 1 N133, laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and now the Nigeria Port Economic Regulatory Agency Act to provide for economic regulation of port services and related matters 2024, third reading taken and passed. A bill for an act to prohibit the exportation of maize in large commercial quantities out of Nigeria and for related matters 2024. Let me take that again. A bill for an act to prohibit the exportation of maize or its derivatives in large commercial quantities out of Nigeria and for related matters 2024 SB 1509 as amended, third reading taken and passed. C. A bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Environment Technology, Roma, Takpenwa, Tai Ogoni, and for related matters 2024 HB 1040, third reading taken and passed. The Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished colleagues. The fifth and last order of the day is a motion standing in the name of most distinguished Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah, Chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation, on the incessant delay and cancelled flight by airline operators in Nigeria. Mr. President, you may wish to invite most distinguished Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah to move the motion.
Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah, the Buhari of the Senate. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Buhari Abdul Fattah, Oyo North. Mr. President, the motion is incessant delayed and cancelled flight by airline operation in Nigeria. Mr. President, the Senate note from series of reportage from both the print and electronic media, as well as the social media in the country, the incessant delay and cancellation of flight by airline operator in Nigeria, which ceaselessly seem to be increased in recent time. Mr. President, also note that this development is worrisome, as air travel is one of the most reliable, dependable, and quicker means of transportation, often undertaken for business official purpose, and to keep to the scheduled appointment, which are usually time-bound. Therefore, unwarranted flight delay and cancellation will be counterproductive to the social economic growth and development of this country. The Senate further notes that as part of interventions measure to check unethical and unwholesome practice of the practitioner in the aviation sector, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority is statutorily empowered through the enactment of Nigerian Civil Aviation Act to, among other things, provide oversight and guidelines aimed at ensuring the airlines operate within the contemplation of international standard in Nigeria and to ensure that airline customers get value for the services they paid the airline for. The Senate observed that the quest for economic diversification and foreign direct investment, which are part of the current administration policy, trust will remain an illusion if the country aviation industry falls short of acceptable best practices across the globe. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, aware that Part 19 of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority Regulation of 2023 makes provision for consumer protection in the civil aviation industry in Nigeria. However, enforcement has been an issue as most Nigerians are not even aware that they are entitled to compensation for time lost due to unnecessary delay and outright cancellation. Hence, the need for the NCAA to activate this aspect and make it public and its regulation so that airline operators will sit up and be alive to their responsibility to their customers. Accordingly resolved, mandate the Senate Committee on Aviation to invite the Minister of Aviation and Aerosport, the Director General of NCAA, airline operators, and other relevant stakeholders to, among other things, unravel the circumstances behind incessant flight delay and cancellation with a view to finding lasting solution to the problem. I so move, Mr. President.
Okay, sorry, who is doing? You are the
Senior in terms of what? Age. Ah, ranking in terms of committee.
no. You are all members of leadership. I have to take the first. Who is
I'm senior to him in terms of leadership.
leader? Okay, Chief, you have the floor. Then minority leader. I'm sorry.
In terms of ranking, I'm more ranked than you. I came to National Assembly in 1992.
No, he's protected. The minority leader is protected.
Okay.
You have been given the chance, but allow him.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished senators. My name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. This motion is apt and germane, especially having regard to what is happening in our aviation industry. Because delayed flights and cancellation of flights have become a recurring decimal in the aviation industry, for which, as a responsible and responsive parliament to the yearnings and aspirations of our people, we must put heads together and invoke the necessary legislations and pass the necessary resolutions with a view to nipping in the bud this ugly scenario of flight cancellations and delayed flights. The motion has already captured the consequences of those. People has a lot of untold hardship, brought untold hardship to travelers who have an appointment, most of them business appointments that are time bound. As a result of that cancellation or delay, they will miss out in their business appointment, thereby bringing untold economic hardship to their businesses and what have you. And then, Mr. President, distinguished senators, apart from that, the insistent delays and flight cancellations, there is no remedy. They don't give any remedy. They don't bring any succor to the people that are affected. as enshrined in the necessary international treaties and conventions regulating such acts. You are supposed to be taken to a hotel. You are supposed to be provided with a meal. All those things are thrown and are not obeyed. They are rather obeyed in breach, but not in observance. So this motion is apt and germane, and as a responsible and responsive parliament to the yearnings and aspirations of our people, we must act and nip in the bud this ugly scenario in the aviation industry. Thank you.
Minority leader, I was just referring to which office higher between minority leader and chief whip. I'm not talking about ranking. So I've been informed by the chief emeritus and the senate leader that chief whip is higher. So you have the floor.
Well, I don't want to allow this argument to derail my contribution. Otherwise, he's a one-term senator, and you should know that. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, quite frankly, I wanted to second this motion to underscore the seriousness with which I see this motion brought by the only Buhari in the Senate. Mr. President, let me share this single experience. That on a particular day, I was at the airport traveling to Akure, and I saw some of my colleagues and other travelers who had come to the airport the previous day by 2 o'clock. And by 3 o'clock, they had not gotten a flight. And they were there. They confessed to sleeping at the airport. Nigerian airports are the only airports in the whole wide world where your flights are delayed without any explanation, without any apology. Your flights are cancelled without any apologies, without any announcement. And so I think that it is high time we take very stern stance on some of these issues, because it throws up the problem of our regulatory agencies. Mr. President, you will recall that even in the 9th Senate, I brought a motion on the arbitrary billings by DSTV on Nigerians. I also brought a bill on the arbitrary deductions on accounts of customers by commercial banks. All these institutions have regulatory agencies, but they do not do anything. They do not do anything. And so the motion by my colleague here actually has thrown up the fierce urgency of the need for this Senate to take a very serious position on this matter. Because apart from the transactional effect of these delays, a businessman, for instance, who had a business meeting in Lagos, will come to Abuja here, I will not be able to find flight to go back to Abuja, to Lagos. You know what that loss can be? Even in government activities, the government officials that wants to travel to Lagos to represent this government at any level of business or program will get delayed in this place until that event is overtaken. Even health, if you have reason to travel out of one place to the other and you get unnecessary delayed and your flight cancelled, God forbid, it is possible to lead to death as a result of that negligence. So I think, Mr. President, that in supporting this motion, I want to say that at least for this matter and other related matters, our compliance committee must ensure that whatever resolutions that we arrive at here is complied with by this agency. Because these organizations or service providers are taking Nigerians and Nigeria for a ride. And they're making Nigeria a laughing stock. Because it's not only Nigerians who are resilient that are applying these rules. Foreigners are here. They experience the same thing. And it makes Nigeria look like a different country from other countries of the world. And so, Mr. President, I completely support this motion. And I urge my colleagues to support the motion and ensure that whatever resolutions the Senate arrives at here are complied with. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
We'll yield the floor to Chief Emeritus for 2 minutes because the time is about to, it's not fair. I mean,
Thank you, Mr.
it's not in our
President.
favor. Then, of course, we have Senator Victor Ome and Mpigi.
Thank you, Mr. President. And supporting the bill, I urge my colleagues, the motion, sorry, for the airlines, because you see, most of the airlines are keeping passengers without caring about their welfare. In international agreement about airlines, if you keep any passenger, delayed any passenger, it's either you feed him or you find alternative way of transporting him. Because Nigerian airlines are not even caring to say if they will put the passengers in another airplane leaving at that moment. They don't care about this thing. So this motion that brought by Senator Buhari of the Senate is very germane, and it's the right time that airlines should start taking their passengers very serious, because international passengers who are transferring to other cities are just looking at Nigeria as jokers. Because when a passenger lands, for example, in Abuja and is going to transfer to Kanu or Abia or Ekiti or Ondo, they delay him for almost 9 hours and without any information. So, Mr. President, I think it's not a way situation in marketing our country. The airlines should be more serious in doing the business. Look at what Senator Abamoru just said. The people waiting for airplane in the morning to the next day, and they were still in the airport. And these airlines never ask these people whether they will eat, whether they will use sleep, and all the rest of them. So it is behoves, even you, Fatai Buhari, as chairman of aviation, you don't even need the leave of Senate to do this thing you are bringing here. It's too late. You could have dealt with this matter before coming back to the Senate, because you are a chairman of the Senate Committee on Aviation. You don't need to bring this motion here. This is an issue you practically could have dealt with before coming to Mr. President or coming to the Senate, because these matters are serious and we are taking them lightly.
Thank you for your observation. But it's painful. Let me tell you one thing.
No, one more minute. Let me round up.
Yes,
I'll round up. You take over.
I want to interject. I want to interject.
The microphone is yours.
Wait, I'm
no,
coming.
1 minute you take over your microphone. Okay, Mr. President, I bow to you. Thank you very much.
What I'm trying to say is that you made a good observation. And unfortunately, we wouldn't have gotten into this situation if it had allowed Sloke Airline to remain. You used to have Sloke Airline. But you dissolved it. Yes. If you allow Sloke
How
Airline
can
to
you
remain,
say this when I brought and you are government? Your government canceled the airline, canceled the license. It's only Nigeria that I can see government looking for business, canceling licenses of businesses. Is it not abomination? It is something you cannot hear for. If you are looking to employ Nigerians and government are busy canceling licenses of banks, canceling licenses of private banks, canceling licenses of private airlines, it's not hard for anywhere in the world. It's only in Nigeria that these things happen. So, Mr. President, I'm even afraid of doing any business I have to do with licensing because it's not the right thing to do.
well, Chief of the Federation, wait. You see, the government of the day is investment friendly. So please bring back Sloke Airline. Bring back, and I'm sure the president is hearing you, he's seeing you, he's seeing this debate.
Okay, I'm going to bring back Sloke Air.
Bring it back.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to bring back Sloke.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Senator Victor Ume.
He has already recognized us. Biggie. Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Senator Victor Ume. I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, this motion is a very good motion. We all have experienced delays and cancellation of flights in Nigeria. And it's not a comfortable situation, in any country where these things happen. But Mr. President, I want to situate the conditions and the operating environment for our airline operators in Nigeria. I have had cause to discuss with some of the operators why this incessant delays and all that. And they raised a lot of issues, some of them bordering on the cost of their operations. The cost of their operations. Because of the fluctuation in the dollar and the things they need to run their services, is very, very patriotic for some of these airlines to still remain in operation in Nigeria. So we have to acknowledge that the situation has been very difficult for them, and they have continued to put their aircrafts on the air to move people around the country. I have listened to the Honorable Minister for Aviation. He is somebody who is on top of this situation. He has been encouraging these airlines, negotiating a lot of things for them, and giving them actually pass mark that they are doing well. In as much as it's very discomforting for flights to be delayed and sometimes canceled, we have to take into account the challenges these airlines face in Nigeria to remain in the skies, to carry people around. So this prayer is very good for them to interface with the Honorable Minister of Aviation, who understands their predicaments significantly.
You have 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Significantly, most of the airlines have improved. There was a time it was very bad. But today, if you are not on time at the airport, you'll miss your flight. So it's going on. There's no point mentioning the airlines.
Thank you.
But I do at their best. And let's acknowledge they are making much sacrifice to be able to operate as airlines in this country. Under this
We yield the floor to
Thank
Senator
you.
Mpigi, then to Senator Abbas, then to Senator Austin Akombo. Two minutes so that we can come.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, Mpigi Baranada, I represent the people of Rivers Southeast District. Mr. President, I want to thank the mover of this motion, but on two hands. One is going to argue, and the other one is to also support. In as much as we support the mover of this motion, Mr. President, the passenger's right and safety is something that is of considerable nature. We also have to look at the economic importance of why if flights are being canceled. The other one that we have to also think about is the regulatory system, which sometimes affects what is happening, and the infrastructures. Now, on the other side, Mr. President, the issue of weather is natural. So most of these airlines, they try to play safety. Most of our flight cancellations and delay are due to weather. What happens again in terms of our infrastructures? Most of the airports don't have necessary infrastructure. Is it the airline? Is it on Nigeria alone? So we have to look at the global practice. What happened in this area? For instance, in America of recent, they've agreed, despite the weather, there must be reasonable time given to passengers about cancellation. So if we look at all those ones, Mr. President, I think we can harness with the committee and try to do a reasonable work, both for the airline and for the passengers. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Senator Abbas, then Senator Austin.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Aminu Abbas, Adamawa Central. Mr. President, I want to support this motion and also contribute my own
in addition to what other senators contributed, Mr. President. Now, I want to disagree with the last speaker on this, because it is only in Nigeria, Mr. President, that you miss your flight, you pay no show. You open your ticket, you pay money for not coming. But you be at the airport, they'll cancel your flight. Nobody will pay you for anything. So Nigeria are being extorted, penalized for doing nothing. Last 2 weeks, I was traveling to Lagos. I was in this chamber, they sent me text that the flight was shifted from 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So I went home. By 7 o'clock, they sent me a message that my flight, not the airline now. Somebody at the airport said they have canceled that flight and they will not announce it. So if you want to go, you come and go with 8 o'clock flight. So I have to leave my house, rush. I went to the airport. I now presented my ticket for 10 o'clock. They said they'll only use that ticket and they have to change it from business to economy. So I have to fly economy if I want to go. Meanwhile, there's the empty seat on business. So they penalized me for doing nothing. I paid for business, but I have to fly economy. And they didn't announce cancellation of that flight. And I know about 2-3 senators missed their flight because they went, no announcement. And if they don't use that ticket, they have to pay money again. So Nigerians are suffering for that. And I think the first thing we'll do is to ensure that there's penalty for canceling flight, because you pay money if you didn't show. So why would they cancel flight unnecessarily without paying anybody? The first thing we recommend is we have to add it that airlines must pay Nigerians. If not, there will be no seriousness on their part. I so submit.
Senator Austin Okobondo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I remain Austin Akobondo, Abia Central Senatorial District. Your Excellency, please, I support this motion ably moved by my chairman, Senator Buhari Abdul Fatai. This motion speaks to the ethical standards of the airlines, because they are talking about the attitude of the airlines to customers. On the flip side, there is need also to look at the challenges like some of the senators have said. And looking at the prayer and the number of agencies invited to meet with the committee, I think this will provide a solid platform to engage with the agencies as to what the challenges of the airlines are, and also use the opportunity to insist that customers must be properly treated, because customers' rights and protection must be enforced. So this avenue will definitely provide an opportunity to engage with them and know actually what the problems are. So we are talking about striking a balance between the services of the airlines and also the challenges they face vis-a-vis how the customers are treated. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the opportunity given.
Thank you, Senator Austin. I think I should, Senator Yunus, then Senator Osita, and then the last was only Senator Adam Oshimole. But we have just 6 minutes to go.
1 minute.
So 1 minute, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name remains Yunus Akitunde, Oyo Central. I stand to contribute and support the motion as presented to us by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Aviation. It's true that we know that there are problems with most of the airlines, but I wish to object to the submission of the minority leader that it's only in Nigeria that they delay flights. It's not only in Nigeria. There could be a combination of factors for airlines to delay their flight. And that doesn't happen only in Nigeria. Only that I want to emphasize the point raised by Senator Aminu. The law is very much one-sided. If for whatever reason they delay your flight or they cancel your flight, you have no penalty to pay. But if for whatever reason you are late by a minute or you have to reopen your ticket, you pay multiple times to make use of that ticket. Finally, Mr. President, I think as submitted by His Excellency, this issue being discussed here should have been handled by the committee themselves. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority is there to regulate the airline. The Senate Committee on Aviation have oversight rights on that agenda. And most Nigerians will appreciate it if the Senate cannot mandate the committee as requested. But instead of inviting people to this chamber to work on the regulatory body and make sure that customers get their due for their payment. Thank you very much.
Senator Osita, you have 1 minute because you have just 3 minutes to go. Then we can yield the floor, to Senator Adam Oshomole.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Osita Ezuna, so I represent Imo West. Well, I just want to contribute to this motion, not necessarily because I'm in total support of the motion. The reason is that no airline operator will delay flight or cancel flight without sufficient reasons. There are so many reasons why flights are delayed and canceled. It could be weather situation. It could be other operational delays and factors. So because we are worried about time, let me reserve my comments until I come to the prayers, because I want to amend the prayer. So I reserve my comment.
Thank you very much. We'll go straight to the prayer. But, oh, sorry. Okay, you. 1 minute. Sorry.
I thought with my Babariga, it would be easier to notice me today.
Sorry, Senator
Adams
Excellency Elijah Adams Oshomole.
Mr. President, sir, thank you very much. I wasn't just going to talk today, I wanted to just listen. But listening to all the contributors, I think there's one thing that most of us are guilty of. If some things are not going well, we proceed to generalize in a very sweepy manner. 2, 3, 4 Nigerians will commit crime, and we say Nigerians are like that. Mr. President, with your permission, I think it is worth nothing on record that all the airlines are not guilty of this offense. For example, I'm very proud of Ibom Air. They keep to time, they board on time, and they depart on time. So if you have, I will list the one that I know. I'm not going to speculate.
Sorry, you have 1 second, sir.
I have limited time. Now you are diverting my attention. So when we commend airline like Ibom Air, then it strengthens our position to condemn those who have no respect and regard for passengers. So I wanted to record that the Senate notes with satisfaction that this is not a general disease. Akwa Ibom Air has shown that a state-owned airline can do better. And if you see Value Jet, since I hear you have shares there, I added this one just to stop the heckling around.
Well, time is off because the Senate time is...
Let me just conclude. I think that in meeting with these airliners, what I've heard is that this idea we must raise revenue. For every 100 naira you pay, almost a third of that go to various
the Senate does not
agencies.
have time. The entire Senate has only 3 minutes to adjourn.
I bow, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the privilege.
Thank you very much. Now, unfortunately, there is no prayer for this motion because the committee itself has a mandate by our rules to do what it needs to do in terms of oversight. So this motion, this prayer is not necessary. Chairman of the committee and the mover, do you agree with me?
Mr. President, the reason why we needed a prayer is that we cannot call the airline operators. It's not under our jurisdiction. No. We only have the agency. And when you tell the agency that how far, what you have to say, we have informed them. With this mandate, you can now invite all the airlines and ask them if it's weather, if it's this thing, there's no problem. We need the Senate approval to do that.
Thank you. Now, I will read this prayer, but I do not agree with you that you don't have the mandate to invite. You have the mandate to invite everybody in this country. You have the mandate to subpoena everybody in this country, even anybody, everybody. mandate the Senate Committee on Aviation to invite the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, airline operators, and other relevant stakeholders to, among other things, unravel the circumstances behind the incessant flight delays and cancellations with a view to finding lasting solution to the problem. Those in favor of this prayer, please say aye.
Amendment.
Those against say nay.
Amendment.
The ayes have it.
Amendment.
Can you move? We don't have time.
Amendment.
Senate Leader,
Amendment.
move for adjournment because we just have 10 seconds to go.
No, amendment to the prayer, Mr. President.
Then we need to extend time.
No, but amendment to the prayer should be allowed, Mr. President. So, no, my amendment is that it is not only the Senate Committee on Aviation, because FCCPC, Federal Competition Consumer Protection Commission, has the responsibility. So my amendment is that the FCCPC, my amendment is that the Senate Committee on Aviation and Industry should conduct a public hearing, not to invite.
No. Seconder. No seconder. It fails.
There's a seconder. There's a seconder.
Okay, second.
Yes?
Second.
I'm Senator Friday Benson. I hereby second the motion.
Those in favor of the motion, please, the amendment, please say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it. Motion for adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleagues. I rise to move that the Senate now adjourn till Thursday, the 5th day of November 2024. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I second the motion that this Senate stands adjourned till the next legislative day. I so second.
Before I put the question, please, announcement of the Conference Committee on Southwest Development Commission, Bill 2024, Senator Onyekachi Nweboyin, Chairman, Senator Musa Mustafa, Northeast, Senator Mohammed Danduse, Northwest, Senator Asukwe Ekponyon, South, Senator Wasiu Eshiloko, Southwest, Senator Dickett Plan, North Central. Those in favor of the motion that this Senate stand adjourned to tomorrow, and seconded by the Minority Leader, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is therefore stands adjourned till tomorrow, 5th day of December 2024.